So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Walter, the Candle Man. He has started candle business on this show. As a matter of fact, the idea came from. So, y'all can check out all his wonderful things on his website. They're listed by his name, the Candle Man. But anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. I really would like to thank Walter. He is our finance guru for taking the time to be here with us on Wednesdays. As it is the money show. Of course, we like to intertwine money in with other stuff because, for whatever reason, people just don't want to talk about money by itself. So we have to sneak it in there. So, of course, if you have any questions regarding finance, we'll do our best to try to help you. Of course, we are not licensed. Uh, uh, we're not licensed, but we are professionals because we've done it before, right? So, anyway, today we're going to cover the topic of Brother Nuri Muhammad being shocked to learn what's in Chick Fil A's chicken sandwiches. And I'll show you all a video of him explaining the revelation that he happened upon. And of course, we want to kind of take this time to talk about just health, being healthy, especially as Black people. Of course, you guys know we have a lot of work to do in our community in regards to getting back healthy. And of course, we'll talk about anything else that you guys want to talk about because I know things happen, especially during midweek, that you guys might want to discuss. So we'll be here with you about an hour and a half. We're going to try. We always say that, but it never really works out that way. We end up being here longer. So we're going to see. By the time 103, how you doing? Long time no see. Brother Reggie, what's going on with you? Love and appreciate you for the reminding of hitting the like button. That is always helpful. As it helps with the algorithm and it brings people over so they can come get some of this good conversation. Of course, I'd be remiss to not thank Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, but you are participants because we do share the link so that you all can come on and express your opinion, ask a question, or whatever it is you want to do. I just ask that if you come on, be brief, really just ask a question, and then maybe we can have a conversation around that. We don't need a history lesson unless it warrants that, right? So anyway, Walter, what's going on with you?
I'm out. No, I'm just building my candle empire. You got my little network started. Got a few people on board. It's nice to be at the top.
Yeah, to say the least. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. Fly Guy, how are you doing this evening? We'll go ahead and get started. So I saw this. I guess it's kind of trending. Of course, I should give you a backgrounder on Brother Nuri Muhammad. He is one of the student ministers of the Nation of Islam, and he has written a copious amount of books. It seems like his thing is really relationships, marriage, just how to flourish well in relationships. I got the opportunity to see him and his beautiful wife Terry. I don't know why I'm pixeling a little bit. Him and his beautiful wife Terry about a month or so ago when they were at the temple here in Houston, and they were talking about how to find a good man, or how to find a good wife or good husband. It was really good. So I just really love the both of them as they are very knowledgeable. So anyway, he was trending because he was shocked again to find out what's in Chick Fil A's chicken sandwiches. Of course, you guys know all about Chick Fil A, but I'm going to show y'all a video real quick, and then we'll have a discussion around that. Let me find it. Here we go. Hello, Tracy, Jan, Michael, and Black Bama and Kiki. What's going on with you? Okay, so here we go.
And I was looking at the line at Chick Fil A. 3 lines starting at 10:30 in the morning, and I stayed there for an hour. It never let up. I said, ain't no way in hell that a chicken sandwich tastes that good. So I said, let me see. I wonder what they're putting in it. And I started doing the research right at the time that you remember, in the hood, there was this argument, Popeyes versus Chick Fil A, and everybody was going back and forth, and you seen people at Popeyes, man, got shot. Man shot somebody because they didn't have no more chicken sandwiches left. I said, this ain't no regular chicken sandwiches. So I went and was sitting one day at Popeye's chicken sandwich. Come to find out, they have over 40 ingredients in the Popeye's chicken sandwich. 32 of them were man-made chemicals. And I said, well, let's see what Chick Fil A has. Over 50 chemicals in the chicken sandwich. Over 40 of them were man-made chemicals. I said, so hell, this is a dope sandwich. So they really are flipping birds over there. Because there's no way in the world to justify. So whenever I seen, now you can't find the ingredients to the Chick Fil A sandwich or the Popeye's chicken sandwich, because they don't want you to know that they're drugging you, they're doping you, that they have you wanting the food not for nutritional value, but because you become addicted by the MSG and the other chemicals that they've inserted in.
So, as y'all can see, and I left this up toward the end of the video, all the stuff that's in that chicken sandwich, and he's right, anytime you go buy a Chick Fil A, you see a line. It's just, in matter of fact, they got like 2 lines, right? It's like 2 lines, and they got people outside working the lines and all of that. But, you know, when you think of a chicken sandwich, I don't know, it's just kind of amazing, all of the stuff that is listed here. You know, it breaks down the elements. Of course, there's the chicken coating even. Remember when your mama, your grandmama, your great-grandmama them used to fry chicken? It was seasoning, and I'm just talking about the coating and flour, right? You know, and depending how they made it, might have put an egg in it so, you know, the batter will do something else. But for the most part, I mean, my goodness, it's got some stuff in there that you can't even pronounce. A lot of stuff. And then as he said, over 40 of the chemicals are man-made. And so he also made the point that it's a dope sandwich, right? Because it's got chemicals and I think what he was alluding to is it's addicting. It's like dope, right? It's like it makes you a fiend for it. Of course, he invoked the whole, remember when Popeyes came out with that chicken sandwich and everybody was going nuts over the sandwich. And like you said, people ended up having some shoot 'em ups over it and, you know, getting hurt. And it was just a mess. And it's like, well, is it crack in the sandwiches? Like, what's really going on here? So this should be concerning for everybody, and not just to, you know, fire on Chick Fil A. I mean, they're just kind of the subject that we're covering here because that's what Brother Nuri Muhammad was talking about. It's most food here in the United States of America. Of course, you guys know Donovan, myself, and my daughter, we just got back from Japan. And I will tell y'all one thing, the food over there is nothing like the food over here. It just tastes better. Like, they are not big on putting chemicals in their food like we are over here. I mean, like, you can taste the chemicals in a lot of the food here, opposed to foods when you travel to other countries, because for one, they outlaw a lot of the stuff that you see here for a simple chicken sandwich. And so, of course, I want to get into a little bit of, you know, what I learned while I was in Japan in regards to food as we go along here. But this is very concerning, y'all. It really is. So I'm going to remove it. Let's try to anyway. Okay, and so let's see who came on here. Watch, I saw you taking a picture of that. Don't ask me how you doing. And GA, what's going on with you? And Queen of Spades, how are you? Thunder, how you doing, baby? And who else came on here? Brother Samuel, how are you this fine evening? Gary, what's going on with you? And Willie, 417, he said, look what's in the pickles, right? Like, aren't pickles just like vinegar with water and some salt and cucumbers? Like, what are we doing here? And let's see. And Thunder says, question, is it possible that Agnes and them live so long because they cook at home and grow their own food? I know I'm not even going to bring up this documentary because Walter and I have both watched, and I'm sure you guys have watched. I'm sure he wants to talk a little bit about it. But Thunder, you are absolutely 100% on to something. You are absolutely right. And let's see here. Oh, and GA said you don't eat there. And Tracy says, my daughter said the same thing. She said Japan's food is so fresh. And she said the same about France. Yeah, it's only over here that you're going to get all of the chemicals in the food, the preservatives, even things that you think are organic and are healthy. Not so much. It's just the label that they put on it, right? And Robert, he says, this is why we should separate and become our own nation. That is part of it. Absolutely right. And Freddie B, what's going on with you? And Black Bama, you say, I was in South Korea and the food there tasted much better and cleaner. Cleaner is a beautiful word to use for that. So, Walter, and I'm going to open up the link in just a little bit, y'all, but keep y'all questions coming because we're going to have a very good conversation. What say you, Walter?
Well, you know how I feel about food, eating out. I mean, I think if you did that with everything, when you go out, you look at everything, and if you really cared about yourself, most of that stuff you wouldn't eat again. You might eat it once in a while. Like I went to In-N-Out about a month ago. It was late. I'd have a couple drinks, and when you drink, you guard. You make silly decisions. And I had an In-N-Out burger, and I sat in the parking lot for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I know it's got all these things. The bun ain't real. It's just I know what I'm about to do to my body, but I want this burger, and I'm okay with the damage. And after I ate it, of course, I was like, oh, that was stupid. So, but there's some people that do this every day. Or I see people in the grocery stores with the processed cheese and the foods and the crackers and the breads and just the stuff in the middle of the aisle. And I just go, these people, they're not going to make it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how people go to the grocery store and just buy stuff in boxes and cans without even reading it. You're doomed. Most of the issues the health issues we have are based on food. Food, weight loss, nutrition. It's called diet and exercise. It's diet first. So, part of me thinks maybe we should let them eat that way so we can clear up some population on the planet. But then the other part of me goes, because that's what the big boys are doing. They know it makes sense. We get these people, especially poor people, minorities, that eat like shit. We will get rid of them and we'll have more room on the planet. But the other part of me wants to say, I wish people would eat better, because if we were healthier, stronger, our government would be stronger. We would be stronger, because when you're healthier, you can do things a lot better. So I'm glad to see that this brother put this out there. I didn't know there were 55 ingredients in Chick Fil A, and they promote that as the healthy source. Chick Fil A is the healthy chicken spot. I can't imagine what they put in KFC. Lord have mercy. Or all the Negro chicken joints. We stand in line. Who stands in line for an hour for food at a chicken spot? Please tell me that's a joke.
Which makes you wonder, what's actually in the chicken, because it's like you brought up KFC, 11 herbs and spices, and what else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think 11 plus 55. I mean, we can go into it later, but I'm reading this book, and Dee, I just sent you the audio version of it. It's called The Glucose Revolution. This is the best book I've read on health in my life. I followed this book. It basically talks about sugar spikes, insulin, foods you eat that spike your insulin, your blood sugar that convert to fat, and aging. It blew my mind. I'm down 50 points. Lord have mercy. I'm always thinking about money. I'm down from 201. I went to 154 by fasting and following this book. And the cool thing is I eat more calories than I used to eat. I eat more than I used to eat. I just eat food in a certain order, fiber, proteins, fats, and then carbs, sugar if you must. And if you really look at some of the foods, like some of the scams like agave and honey, they say it's better for you, but it turns out like agave is actually worse than regular sugar. A lot of things we just don't know about our food. Breads in the US, they take the fiber out. Just a lot of things we don't know about our food. I guarantee anybody, if you can get this book on audiobook too on Amazon. I listened to the book yesterday for like the fifth time in like the last 2 weeks. And I listened to this lady's videos all day on YouTube. I'm telling you, if we can just get just something simple when it comes to health, just start a regimen. You don't have to change what you eat. Maybe that what you eat in the form, like if you're gonna eat meat, eat grass fed. If you're gonna do fruits, do organic. Um, it just the stuff that they do to our fruits is insane. If you really knew what they did to the fruits and some of the food, you wouldn't eat it. Um,
Speaking of fruits, and don't ask me.
are you still got that thing?
Look, yeah, that's a reminder. Don't ask me. Says I had an apple outside for over a week and it's just now showing signs of bruising. Guys, it's pixelating because I don't know why I'm pixelating, but this apple, my daughter drew a face on him. This apple is from July, the beginning of the middle of July, and he's wilted a little bit. Yes, it's a he. He's wilted a little bit, but I could probably bite into it and still get some sort of a crunch from it. You know what I mean? So it's like this apple has not been in the refrigerator. It's literally been out on the counter. And mind you, I was gone from home. We both were 11 days and we turned the air and everything off and it's sweltering hot in this house. Like sweltering to the point to where I had a rubber band on my light over here and it got kind of soft. I'm like, what happened to it? I was like, oh, it was so hot in the house, it melted. But not this guy. He's still surviving the game. So, like, what's really going on here? What are we doing?
And that's in your body. The preservatives. First of all, apples aren't apples anymore. Bananas aren't bananas. But the preservatives they put in that stuff stays forever. When that stuff hits your stomach, it's doing the same thing to your body. You don't stand a chance. And you can go to the store and look at all your foods, just the junk that's in them. The crazy part is, and we talk about this, when you go to some of the nicer areas financially, their grocery stores are different. Like trying to find a Whole Foods or even a Sprouts, which is still borderline, suspect. Trying to find a Whole Foods in the hood is almost impossible. And so you can learn a lot by even going to some of the like really nice areas. Their stores, a lot of those stores, they have better options. And you see those people are skinnier, they're healthier. It's crazy. It's called the Glucose Goddess. This book, and I'm a nut. I have 2 full bookcases. I don't know if you can see that bookcase behind me, but I have 2 of those in my house and another spot for books. Half of them health books that I've read. And I'll tell you, this is written by a girl in France. The best book I've ever read. It's called The Glucose Revolution. She also has a glucose method where she tells you what to do. Basically, like me, I drink vinegar, apple cider, not with the honey because honey's a killer, before every meal. Because vinegar takes the sugar and the insulin and moves because of the lactic acid, it moves that sugar to your muscles so your muscles can burn it, not so it can hang out on your stomach. It drops your sugar spike because how you gain weight and you age, aging glycation is another word for aging. So when you hear about the glycemic index, when you eat foods that are low, that just means it doesn't spike your blood sugar. Every time you spike your blood sugar, it has to then come down. That's why you get tired, irritable, hangry, all these illnesses. Like people will just keep their blood sugar low. This book, if you follow, and I don't know I'm not getting a penny from this book, not yet. I haven't figured out how to connect the affiliate link because I've had 100 people I know for a fact that's bought this book. But this book really, like when I jump on the scale, I'm 160 pounds. And I remember I used to go 180, 190 from one day of eating. My weight would jump 5-10 pounds. But I tell you, tonight I'm having lamb chops and olive oil and a giant salad, and I won't gain 1 pound tonight based on the way that I eat my food, like fiber first, vinegar, fats and proteins, and then sugar and starches, which I rarely do anyways. So, yeah, and the wax, don't even talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, and that might be why this guy is still surviving. I mean, it's kind of creepy, that he's still here. But so it might be wax, but I don't know. Maybe it's crack. I don't know. And how you doing, Tisha? And I'm gonna get Thunder's question. I was gonna say something, but let's see. You say question. Also, have you noticed that that apples don't turn brown anymore after you bite them? Back in the day, if you bite an apple, it will start turning brown immediately. Yeah, oxidation is what happens to it when the air hits it and all of that because it's more natural. But now, it's so many chemicals pumped into it, uh, and it's to preserve them really. And Tracy, I saw you say, most fruits and vegetables don't have seeds anymore. It is like mission impossible nowadays to find fruit and vegetables with seeds, because we're supposed to eat fruit, especially with the seeds, but they're modifying them to where you don't need the seeds. It's like, I don't have a problem eating around the seeds. I don't know if that's why or what, but it's pretty scary. And I like to eat watermelon. I went to a farmer's market to purchase a watermelon. It was huge, but it wasn't really that good. It had seeds in it, but I don't know. Um, but I will say, Harley, how you doing? Since I drink apple cider rice vinegar. Yeah, some people say that's good to drink. Some people say it's not. It just depends on who you believe in. The benefits that you have or you get from it. Let's see here.
Yeah, I
And
tell you what, just keep it simple. If you're doing vinegar, just keep it simple. Make sure it's 5% or under the acid, and just like apple cider vinegar without the honey and all the other crap. Because you guys have to understand, sometimes they add other stuff just to get everybody to do it. Sometimes if like I was doing apple cider vinegar, and I noticed that it had honey in it, and I was like, what's the point? Like, the reason you drink vinegar is to keep your glucose from spiking, but if you add sugar to it, anyways, people, we got a lot to learn. But
and I see Robert say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that anything grafted is the devil. That means food too. Absolutely. And of course, you can learn a lot about the way Muslims eat, Nation of Islam, through these books, is How to Eat to Live 1 and 2. And it just basically tells you how to eat, what to stay away from. Of course, you don't want to do no swine, which is said to be rat, cat, and dog all mixed together. If you learn about the anatomy of a pig, you probably wouldn't want to, mess with it too much. And if you think about a chicken, it ain't that much better, because you think about the nature of a chicken. Would they throw all that stuff out there in the yard, to feed it? And especially nowadays, the chickens are all cooped up, and it's just a mess the way they do chickens. But when you watch a chicken eat, it's not saying, "Oh no, I don't think I'm going to eat that. I'm going to go for that." Oh no, no. Because think about their eyes; they're like on two sides, opposite sides of their head, right? So they're just pecking. They don't care what it is. They're just pecking. So they don't discriminate what they eat either. So they're not really too much better than a pig. Um, so yeah, we really need to start thinking about these things. But I'm telling you, just going to other countries and you taste the food and you learn what they will and will not allow in their food sources. It'll shock you about the things that they do allow in the food over here. It's crazy, and and a lot of it is to get you addicted. There's a lot of money in selling you crap food. Even now, like someone else, you guys were saying with the vegetables and fruit. I mean, some of it ain't that much better for you either. And then, like, because Walter, you brought up Whole Foods, a lot of people think, oh, so I'll go to Whole Foods, and I'll get some food that's good. And a lot of the food in there is good, but some of the food comes from, what I understand, China, where it's like, well, what are they sending? How regulated is this food that we're getting? So, Thunder, as you said, Agnes and Gertrude and them, they was growing their own food, and I remember my grandmothers, they had gardens. My grandmother on my mom's side, she had a big giant avocado tree. Remember, Walter? They
mhm.
had that big giant avocado tree in the backyard. It was huge. It was just like it had to been there for decades. It was that big. And she had a whole garden, and I just, in my memory, I could taste how fresh the tomatoes were, and the green beans and all that kind of stuff. But people just don't do that stuff anymore. And let's see here. RBR Network, how you doing? Thank you so much for the donation. You say, if it's Chick Fil A, I'm sure there's a little racism and white supremacy in their sandwich. I don't know. I see a lot of people eating there. I wouldn't necessarily say it's us, but there's a lot of people eating there. But I think if you are willingly putting chemicals in your food and you're serving it to the public, there's some form of hate there, regardless of who is eating it, right? Because why would you want to? And the other question is, does the CEO and the or the higher ups of Chick Fil A, do they put this on their table at night? And you want to know what the answer I would believe is? No, because wealthy people know that they only really get to enjoy their money if they're here to enjoy their money. What was it, Walter? David Rockefeller, one of them, he was like 100 and I don't know, 5, and he had like 9 heart transplants. One of the Rockefellers, he died a couple years back, but he had a copious amount of heart transplants. He was trying to stay here. Steve Jobs, who founded Apple, he was like, I give it all up to live. Of course, he died. And the crazy part is he was a fruitarian, and he died of pancreatic cancer, is what it was. He had 2 bouts of it. And he was like, none of this means anything to me. If I'd give everything up to live.
And the crazy thing about fruit is fruit has so much sugar in it. See, a lot of people don't really understand, like eating fruit all day is all sugar. I mean, unless you eat the fiber, like a lot of people do smoothies, they do fruit juice, like a thing of orange juice has the sugar of a Coca-Cola. Matter of fact, what's worse with fruit is they take the fiber out when they drink the juices. Like, think about this for a second. How long would it take you to eat 8 oranges? Or I used to order apple juice. You probably remember this. I used to order apple juice all the time. And it was straight, when I think about it, how dumb would my black ass look eating 8 apples at the table? That's what it takes to make the juice, except I'm not getting fiber. So a lot of people that say, well, I eat fruit and fruit. Fruit, that is sugar, sugar, sugar. Fruits, honey, agave. Matter of fact, eating agave is worse than eating sugar because it has fructose in it. But the industry has you thinking agave, honey is better. I mean, but you can eat a blueberry and get the benefits of a teaspoon of honey without all the crazy sugar from the honey. You see what I'm saying? So you just have to understand your food. And somebody made a comment about people being overweight. It's funny, and I probably go to hell for this.
Uh-oh.
I was out in Santa Barbara, Ventura this week, 2 weekends ago. And so we were sitting there and I said, I tell you what, I'm going to, like I said, I'll probably go to hell for this, but I'm going to say it. We're going to sit here and look for the first person that's Instagrammable. Who's the first person that walks by that looks like they could be on Instagram, filter, picture up here, whatever. We sat there for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I said, nobody that's walked by is Instagrammable. The regular population are just normal people, right? And I said, let me go down there and walk by. That's number one. That's the hell part. But the point I'm making is everybody is carrying all this excess weight. And it's diet. It's diet and exercise. You can't outwork a bad diet. And some people say I'm eating healthy, but they're still overweight. That means you're not eating healthy. There's somebody that's 50 pounds overweight is not eating healthy. I know, because I thought I was eating healthy because I made my own food and I bought it from the grocery store. And I was so in the dark thinking I was being healthy by going to the grocery store. Even I only bought vegetables and meats and stuff. Even when I looked at the vegetables and the meats and I still was getting it all wrong. And I was eating my food in the wrong order. Like, you'll notice when you go to some countries, they do greens first. They'll do in Japan, they'll do like wasabi, not wasabi, but the edamame. A lot of cultures will do green fiber first. You realize when you eat fiber, it coats your whole system. Fiber does not break down. It goes in and comes out the same way. So when you eat fiber, it coats your walls. So when you eat fat, proteins, and sugars, that stuff slides right out of your system. It doesn't hit your blood system when you coat your body with fiber, with an avocado, a green salad, something that's high in fiber. And that's just basic stuff. So between the vinegar and the fibers, I'll take an avocado with lemon and sea salt, and I'll douse it with olive oil, and I'll eat that first. And just coat my system, and I could have a full steak and goat cheese salad, and tomorrow I will weigh the same, and my energy will be the way it was.
What about monk fruit as a substitute for sugar and honey?
The best thing to do with sugar is try and stay away from it. Now, if I was gonna do, I mean, fruits are obviously better than just eating, straight sugar.
Oh, wow.
But with some of the things they've done with fruits, like you look at an apple, from 100 years ago, a banana, they're not even the same. Some of the stuff they do to, they graft these foods and they do things to them to make them big and grow fast. Now, I don't know a lot about monk fruit, but if I was gonna do something sweet, like I started doing blueberries. It's kind of weird, but I'll eat them. If you want a sweetener, I've taken blueberries and put them in stuff if I wanted it sweet for whatever reason. And then the other question before this, agave, stay away from it. Honey, I'm telling you, you want something sweet, you can do the blueberries. A lot of the honey and agaves, if you really break down the sugar, some of that stuff is worse than just doing regular sugar. And brown sugar is the same. Brown sugar is just a spinoff of white sugar. So sugar is a killer. You would be better eating a steak and eating all the fat around it, because you don't get fat from fat. You get fat and sick from sugar. Sugar spikes your blood sugar, your insulin. So when you start becoming aware of those things, I'm telling you, if you follow this book religiously, you will lose weight. I promise you, because you look at a lot of countries, they eat differently than we do. It's not like, what I used to say when I go to Europe, how I spot the Americans? Look for the fat ones.
You know what's so funny? I mean, not funny, like ha ha, like weird. And Thunder, I'm gonna get your question right after this. Japan is the same way. That's the heavier people were not Japanese. The heavier people were from other places, America, Brazil, whatever, anywhere else besides Japan were the heavier people. I mean, I'm telling you, those people are small over there, and they're small. The houses are small. The spaces are small. The subway seats are small, like because they build up, right? But they're smaller people. Their clothes are smaller. So let's say a size 4 over here is definitely not a size 4 over there. But that is so bizarre, because you can spot who was an outsider or foreigner to them. But Thunder, you say, why is America the only country in the world that you can be poor and still be overweight? Says we have so much food here that people are allergic to it. I never seen a Ghanaian afraid of a peanut. Yes, he's talking about the peanut allergy and things like that. Well, the food over here is the worse the food, then the cheaper the food. What am I trying to say? The cheaper the food, the worse off the food is, right? Like you could go to the store and get, I don't know, cup of noodles for what? I don't know what it is now, 50 cents for a container. There's nothing of nutrients in there at all. Chips. And Thunder, you also said you went to the gas station to get some water. Water was, significantly more than a can of soda or iced tea. And so there's like Walter said, there's just a lot of crap, especially sugar. I try my best to stay away from sugar. I try not to eat it on purpose outside of something, that's natural, like some fruit and things like that. And at my age, my doctor said I should be eating more vegetables than fruit anyway, because fruit does have sugar, even though it is natural. But because the food is no good, Thunder, it's no good. And it's some of that is by design. And then I think they said up until, don't quote me, the 80s, the 70s, there wasn't really a big thing of high fructose corn syrup. And then they started to put it, the government allowed high fructose corn syrup and everything because it was cheaper. They actually liken sugar to white gold. That's what it's called, white gold, because even, during slavery and even back before then, sugar was considered like gold. And so that's why they called it that, but it got too expensive. So they was like, well, what else can we use to put in food that'll make it sweeter, but that's cheaper? And that's how you came up with high fructose corn syrup. Your body does not know what to do with that at all. It's like, what are you doing? Just like they said, eating fried chicken, your body don't know what to do with it because the molecular structure of the chicken has changed. It's fried and it's carcinogenic as far as, cancer causing. So your body is having a hard time even trying to digest it because it just really doesn't know what to do with this. So It's just something um, we need to be cognizant of. And I want to get this. Hold on, Walter, let me catch up on the comments, Walter, really quick.
Now go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. Jeremy has awakened. How you doing? He says I had store-bought watermelon that ants and flies would eat. He says when I eat watermelon off the old man trucks, I get flies and ants and possums. So I think he said they won't eat. Yeah, it's not good if they don't want it. They're like, no, we good. And Tracy says certain things everyone can't eat. That is true. Yeah, I think you're talking about the peanuts. And then Lunice, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says make sure check in with your doctor first before listening to anyone who has not met you personally and is a medical trained physician. Be smart. Don't take any advice from a stranger. And you're absolutely right. We are not professionals. We are having conversations based off of our own experiences. So we would never say that we are in the place of a doctor. But I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me get to it. Have you seen Dr. Berg today?
No, I haven't today.
He said that he's been silenced. He's been censored. He says that, and he is a doctor, but he is talking about holistic things, outside of what he said as a doctor, toxic medication. And he says that he got these notices and stuff from YouTube that certain things he can't talk about. So they told him, I guess, that they're hiding his stuff to where you can't really, it won't pop up anymore. So he says when you put in certain things that he talks about, he says like keto diet, because he's big on talking about keto dieting. He says the first thing that comes up is the Mayo Clinic. So he's basically saying that people like him and other doctors that are talking about holistic approaches, they're being shoved to the back. And we know why, right? Big pharma and all of that. But, there's a lot of doctors, and I follow Dr. Bobby Price on YouTube. He's an awesome guy. He's a Black doctor. He says that he could no longer do what he was doing to people. He says, in fact, they should stop calling it healthcare and call it sick care, because he says doctors only keep you on the precipice. You feel a little bit better, but he said they're not curing you. They're not telling you, holistic approaches to getting better. So yeah, you should go to the doctor. I would be remiss to tell you not to do that, but you should never go to the doctor ignorant, because there's a lot of people who go to the doctor ignorant and they just say, oh, okay. Oh yeah, if that's what you think is best, and they don't have any knowledge of their own to kind of even start a conversation with their doctor. Like every time I go to the doctor and they tell me something, I'm like, how do we know, doctor? Are you sure? And almost every time when I got tested, they're like, no, there's no problems here. But what if I was like, okay, well, if you think it's best, I'd be on all kind of medication.
Yeah, no. You guys, listen. We got to stop with the hurdles and shit. Doctors are in the business of selling medicine. Period. That's it. You go to a doctor, he's not going to say, do this, eat this way, eat that, put the ham hock and the sugar down. Because if, like, one of my good friends works in medicine, and I told her, I said, you know what puts your industry at risk if everyone started eating healthy? And so I've been to doctors, and this the last thing on their mind is nutrition. Period. So, and take it from people that are doing it. I'm 5'9". I was 201 pounds last year. I was a big dude. This morning I'm waiting at 160, and I'm not exercising barely. I'm walking, doing my things. Just from like Dr. Berg was like that dude. His videos like really helped me. There's a lot of people on YouTube that are being silenced because they're keeping it real. I'm surprised some of these guys are still alive. And sumos are fed a diet to get fat. I've heard people say that before. Like sumo, if you saw what a sumo wrestler eats, it would blow your mind. But they eat to get fat. For a sumo wrestler to get that big, they have to go on the American diet. And you guys, and by the way, sumo wrestlers don't live a long time. Just so you know, their lifespan is very short. So
and Thunder, these are How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Nation of Islam. You can go on NOI.org to order them. Not sure if they're on Amazon, but definitely NOI.org. Very easy reads, just kind of tell you the type of foods to eat, type of foods to stay away from. Also is very big on not eating all day, every day. In fact, they said you should eventually get up to eating every 3 days. because you end up wearing your stomach out. And this is the advice from the book. You end up wearing your stomach out, eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snacks in between. Like, when does your stomach rest? When it's constantly digesting and working, and all of that. So also, when you fast, you give your cells a chance to regenerate, um, and you feel a lot better. So there's a lot of good principles in those books. So, How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah, they don't even, what up, Donna? They don't even take, think about this. Your insurance company won't even, like, if you go to the insurance company and say, I want to take a holistic approach, they'll look at you funny. Like, when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and I asked my doctor, I said, hey, um, can nutrition and health do it? He goes, nutrition has nothing to do with cancer. I said, I've already known because I already did some research with Dr. Sebi and Sebi and Dr. Berg, and so I already know. And I dug deep into it, and I found hundreds of people that have healed themselves. I have one of my good friends, JP in Houston, had the same prostate cancer. He went like greens and things like that, and he got rid of his stuff in 12 months. Said he got rid of his stress. He cut his girlfriend loose because stress raises blood sugar. And I didn't know that until I watched the documentary, The Blue Zones, on Netflix. He said I cut my girlfriend loose. People that were stressing me out, I cut them loose because, and I really didn't. He just said he did it because the doctor told him to get rid of stress. And now I understand that when you stress, it raises your blood sugar, and blood sugar, cancer, a lot of diseases live on. It takes inflammation and sugar and glucose spikes to trigger those diseases. And so I learned a lot of that stuff on YouTube. When I found out I had cancer, I was 200 pounds. Then I went on the 21-day fast, and everybody was like, oh, how can you go 21 days without eating? Like, the human population is so weak, they can't go one day without food. And our ancestors went days, days, days. You think they had Chick Fil A when they were chasing rabbits and cows and animals? No, they have a Chick Fil A laying around. The problem with us, especially the Americans, is we have to eat all the time. Like, I'll have somebody say, oh, I'm hungry. No, you're not. It's mental. Like, the other day, I went 2, 3 days without eating. And the only reason I ate is because it was a weekend and I wanted to do something fun with my girl. That's it. If it wasn't for being around humans, I would rarely eat. So my kids came over, so I made dinner, but I wasn't even planning on eating that day. So, and when you get control over your food, I tell you, you just imagine this. Just imagine if you were at a decent weight. Because I have a lot of friends, and a lot of my boys have gained weight. There's some big dudes. I'm talking Bubba in the house. And I'm just like, in the photo, I used to be with him. Now we take a picture. I'm the smallest dude in the picture. And I'm not like a crackhead, but it's just all diet. And my boys exercise way more than I do. It's just what you put in your body, especially as Black people. I mean, like, if I'm Joe Biden and I'm the white supremacy leader, I'm gonna feed Black people what they're eating right now: slave food, pigs, ham hock, collard greens cooked full of salt, and all the crap. Soul food is basically what they gave to the slaves. I don't know if you know that. And
Well,
as
it is what they had. They gave it to them, but the slaves actually fashioned it into something tasteful, and now they be up in this they being white folks in the soul food restaurants eating the food that their ancestors threw away as scraps.
they call it the boomerang. Yeah, sometimes you find more white people in the soul joint than Black people, but those foods were leftovers, and it's just like the word nigger. Black people turned it into something cool, and sometimes you can't do that. Like, I go to a Black picnic, man, I can't eat nothing. I gotta literally bring my food, or say, I'm just going today. I'm killing sales, and if I eat like these people, I'm gonna look like them. Like, my boy invited me to a barbecue, and I was like, man, everybody at that barbecue is overweight. I can't do it. I don't want to eat like that. If I'm going to eat like that, I want to do it and really, like, enjoy myself. So I really think Um, the food is everything, you guys. Get out the gym. Get off the fattest people are on the treadmills. They're the biggest people. You could be a blind man and walk the gym and hug everybody and figure out what a stairmaster is. Get out the gym. Stop wasting your money. That's $100 a month or $50, and then you go, you get the smoothies, and you add it all right back. You could skip the gym. Do you realize if you sprint it, if you just took 10 minutes of your day and you did sprint for 10 seconds, walked and did sprints, and you did that for 10 minutes, that's all you need to get your heart, your energy, that's all the exercise you need. Lift a little weights. Do you realize in Europe, I was in Europe, I don't see gyms when I go to Europe. I don't see gyms in Asia. I'm sure they have, but you know what they do? They walk.
Oh man, let me tell you. When I was in Japan, we walked upwards of 7 miles plus a day, and they got stairs in everywhere. Like they have a huge, subway system to take you everywhere you go. So that's how we actually travel from the airport to the Airbnb, and the whole time we were there on the subway. And I tell you, some of those the stops, you have to walk up flights of stairs, and then you turn the corner. You're like, okay, this must be it. No, it's some more stairs, and you're like, okay, surely this is the last stairs. We're gonna get out of this thing. No, here's some more stairs, and I'm like, but they're all small, like they're tiny people, tiny, because they're always moving and walking. And I would say I saw cars, but I didn't see them a lot like you would over here in the States, because they have a huge transportation system in the subways, the trains, and all of that. So yeah, you're gonna do a lot of walking. Believe that.
Yeah, and they do walk. If you ever go to Croatia, if you go to Dubrovnik, where they filmed the Game of Thrones, that city is built of stone. And I remember we were going to a restaurant, and what they do is they build up a level of stairs, and in a circle, they build the houses and restaurants. Then you go up another level of stairs, there's more restaurants and houses. We looked up this hill, there must have been 20 rows of stairs. So this restaurant we wanted to go to was way at the top of the stairs. And you see people 60, 70 years old, no canes. You don't see cane, you rarely see canes in Europe, some of these spots. And they're old people, not old, because 16, 70 is not that old, but people that have advanced in age are walking up these stairs. And you see the fat ass Americans down there, like, look, is there a train? Is there, and it is, they have one of those lifts that you could take for the big people to get up to the top. They don't have rooms for scooters, but man, they have stairs everywhere. Those people are in phenomenal shape. They get out, they socialize, they walk, and they don't eat all day. I'm telling you. And Donna said something about fasting 72 hours. There's something about fasting 72 hours that puts your body in extreme autophagy. And autophagy is when your good cells eat your bad cells. Actually, autophagy starts anywhere around 18 hours. So if you can go 18 hours without eating, your good cells start to eat the bad ones. That's why when you get diseases, the nutritionists, the real people, tell you to stop eating, because your cancer, diabetes cannot grow if you don't eat. So in diabetes, that's an easy disease to beat. I mean, if you got diabetes and you own here, you cut your sugar out, you follow this book, follow Dr. Berg, your diabetes would be out of here just like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people, Black people, have diabetes. Like when you go diabetes, and what is it, heart disease we have? What's some of the other stuff we have as a race?
Should you name it?
I mean, for people that physically are the strongest people in the world, we have some of the craziest illnesses. Like, think about this. I don't mean to go back, but it is what it is. I don't think I'm being a jerk by saying Black people are the strongest people in the world, right? I mean,
we are.
A Black woman stepped on the tent. They were so happy when Serena and Venus retired, and now they got a new sister on the court. She gonna reign for that. The point I'm making is, we're the strongest people in the world, physically, mentally, but we succumb to these, I don't know, Popeye's chicken should not be in existence. I know, like I'm trying to think the last time I went to Popeye's chicken. I can't even remember. And I passed by Popeyes. I go, oh, that smells so good. There's so many chemicals in it. Just makes me want to bite a piece of chicken. And I do want to eat a piece of Popeye's chicken, but I would do it as, wow, this is good, but I'm killing myself. And barbecue sauce, forget it. Man, if you knew it was in barbecue sauce, and first of all, when you burn your meat, you create carcinogens that destroy your body, and then you cover it with sugar sauce, it's a wrap. I mean, if I'm Joe Biden, I'm not trying to shoot black people anymore. I'm just going to let them eat the way they eat. In 30, 40 years, black people, we will not be here based on our diet, period.
And Thunder, you asked about any do I have any Dr. Sebi books? I don't have any Dr. Sebi books, but I along with my family have studied Dr. Sebi. As you guys all I know, I talk about my mom a lot. Our mom, I should say, she passed away of cancer in 2016. And so it was her second bout with cancer. And so we all took her to Dr. Sebi's office in Los Angeles, California. And we got all the stuff and all of that. And my mom's tumor, best I can describe it, she had liver cancer. So they said it was like 500 centimeters. That's probably the wrong metric, but just for context, 500 centimeters. And after she got on the Dr. Sebi diet for a couple of months, it has shrunk to below 50, and the doctor himself, because I would go to her with every appointment, and he was like, wow, but then unfortunately, and I don't want to say it's because my mom kind of fell off of the healthy eating, I try not to do that to myself. Like, oh, what if she would have just kept eating?
Oh, healthy? She loves some Popeye's chicken. You couldn't go over her house without her asking you to stop at Popeye's. I mean, it is what it is. At least she did what she wanted to do. Shit.
Yeah, but we saw her. I mean, my mom, when she got diagnosed the second time, she was pretty much bedridden. Then we took her to Dr. Sebi, and she ended up moving in with me. I would come home, and I'm like, where this lady at? I call her and she's like, oh, I'm with my friend. We here, we there. I mean, she just had so much energy. She was just on the go. And I was like, look at that. And so, unfortunately, she did succumb to it, the latter part of 2016. But I do know that there's a lot of benefits to following Dr. Sebi. So I, too, myself have gone back plant-based for about 2 months now, since the middle of July. I was like, you know what, let me just go back. So I feel much better because I did.
Yeah, if you're gonna do, first of all, fasting is one of the best things you could do for your body. I tell you, I used to walk 10 to 12 miles, jog, walk 10 to 12 miles, and about mile 7, my knees would start hurting. When I fasted, that pain went away, like literally. I would have a knee pain, and I haven't had that knee since I started fasting. I haven't had that knee pain ever again. It's bananas what fasting does. And I think that's the thing with our mom, is we didn't do that. If we'd have known about fasting, I think it would have been a different story. Like you eat at 6 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? And after that, you just drink a bunch of water, and then you just go to bed, and you wake up and you don't eat before you know it, it's 6 p.m. again. That's 24 hours. Even if you did that once a week, giving your body a chance to heal, man, some of us would just be in such better shape. But until we do that, we're going to suffer. And you guys, what's coming on with the new economy and everything that's coming on, man, your health, you're going to need to be in good shape. Financially, I can tell you as a business owner, I see what's going on in the world. Like the people say the recession, we don't know if it's coming. Fool, the recession is here. I see so many restaurants that are going out of business. Guy that works with me, his buddy is closing his restaurant, his third restaurant, because it's so slow. One of my mechanics was like, Walter, I don't know where in the hell everybody went.
And you know what, though? It's so true, because there's a lot of things that are just going. They're just leaving. Jobs, businesses, they're just leaving. And so I think, too, after a while, people are going to have to find other ways of feeding themselves. You ain't going to be able to go out there and get all the rich, foods or whatever it is. And Angela, how you doing, by the way? You're absolutely right. eating should be intentional. You should eat for nutrient contents or nutritious contents and not necessarily for your taste buds. Yeah, eat to live. Eat to live, not live to eat, right? And I think that's what a lot of us have learned how to do is we got to pour all the sauces and the salts and the just everything to make food good. And one thing I like about being plant-based is and plant-based the right way, not the way it is now where you can go get impossible meats and stuff like that. Every blue moon, that kind of stuff is cool, but you can't say I'm not going to eat meat, but I'm going to go eat a bunch of impossible meats, Oreos, French fries, and things that are considered vegan, and think that you're eating healthy. In fact, if you look at the Impossible Burger, it's worse than eating a regular hamburger because all the stuff they have to put in it to give you the meat sensation and to have it actually taste like meat. So I love that you said that eating should be intentional. And I did learn that when I went to Japan, that they are very, and it's funny, I was telling that to my daughter earlier, very intentional in almost everything that they do. It's very methodical, even the way they drink tea, like matcha, right? It's the ceremony with the cup and, it's just, everything is just so well thought out, which it probably explains why their people are so small. And one of the blue zones is where the centenarians live, people who live to be on average 100 years old or older, is in Okinawa, Japan. But they said, unfortunately, that population is dwindling due to the influence of Western foods, the restaurants and all that kind of stuff. So be intentional. Like,
Yeah.
why am I eating what I'm going to eat today? What's in what I'm eating? Is there any nutrients in this? Am I eating it just to get full, or am I eating it to be healthy? Am I eating it to satisfy taste buds or what? And I will say this too before I give to you, Walter. Going back plant-based, there's things I don't crave anymore. Like I love sugar, but I didn't realize that I love sugar, whether it was ice cream, even if it was vegan ice cream or something like that. But eating plant-based, there's just certain things you just don't crave anymore. Like, I don't really have a taste for that no more because you're just used to eating whole foods.
Yeah. And plant-based don't mean fried cauliflower or zucchini dipped in breading. I see some vegans, they be the fattest people in the room. People think plant-based is like you can eat sugar. Like, I was watching this show. One of my favorite shows is Selling Sunset. And they were having a real conversation as an Oreo vegan. And I go, see, that is a problem. Now, I know some people are vegan, plant-based. I mean, myself, I eat meat, meats and fish. I don't mess with chicken or pig. But I try and only eat meat if it's grass-fed. I don't eat a lot of it. But like just if you're going to be vegan or eat meat, just eat the stuff that's clean. That's it. You don't, because I think we spend a lot of time talking about plant-based versus meat eaters. And really, I know people on both sides that are very healthy. Like Dr. Berg is damn near, what's he, 70? 60 something? The dude looked like he in his...
He's in his 60. I thought he was a lot younger than that.
No, he's on his way to 70. The dude eats 4 eggs a day. He talk about meat like he's going out of style, but he just does things in the right way. So, and like me, I do I'm watching these YouTube videos and looking at different countries. I noticed they had 2 things in common. A lot of them talk about turmeric. So I have a big thing of turmeric. I do a turmeric tea. So I put turmeric, hot water, turmeric, and cinnamon, because cinnamon levels your blood sugar, right? So it reduces the spike. I also do, you mentioned matcha. It has ECG, so I don't know, some chemical in it that promotes, like when you drink green tea, it blocks the fat conversion, sugar converting to fat. Number one, that's why the Japanese, they drink it. Green tea does so many things for you on a cellular level. Stops you from gaining weight, reduces inflammation. These turmeric and green tea is what I found. And garlic, by the way, you crush it after 15 minutes. The allicin is released, and so you eat garlic after about 15 minutes. Those 3 things I found on almost every health video that I watched. Dr. Berg, from all these different dudes, they talked about those 3 ingredients. And then the number 1 fruit that was on all their list, blueberries. Blueberries. A lot of them talk about the antioxidants, the fiber in blueberries, avocados is off the hook. So, um, again, I don't do man chicken like who, and I get it. Fried chicken is off the hook. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say I don't want to eat chicken.
Remember when we went to you came out here and we went to Frenchie's when we was looking for houses, that chicken spot. I was like, there's a Frenchie's over here, Frenchie's chicken. Remember? It was me, you, and Deanna. And we got like a bucket of wings.
I
And
eat
we
that.
poured a bunch of hot sauce on us. It's back in what, March when you came?
Oh yeah.
Man, we tore those wings up.
Well, I love chicken wings. They taste them off the hook. Like we went to the turkey leg hut, and I had that big old turkey leg. Which I don't know what they put in that turkey leg. A turkey leg shouldn't taste that good.
It was so, to me, it was like everything. No shade to the turkey leg hut because I know how people in Houston feel about it. Everything was just super salty. I have like a salt intolerance anyway. I can't have my food too salty, but I was like, damn. Yeah, salt and everything. Even the spinach was salty. I was like,
yeah, it's crazy. So just if you're gonna eat, just try and eat clean and take to YouTube before they ban all these guys. I mean, you could learn a lot from them. I'm telling you, I don't care what no one says. I listen to doctors. I had a personal trainer. My personal trainer is bigger than I am. I have less body fat than my personal trainer. I tell you, I love going into the store and looking at the small mannequin and saying, "I'll take that." I don't even have to try it on. My personal trainer is bigger than I am, and has still working like a mug. But you can't outwork a bad diet. And the crazy part is, you guys, it's easy. Like you could literally eat your food in the right order, and you don't have to count calories. Calories are a scam. Period. When I was counting calories, I was a big boy. I don't count calories no more. I used to measure my olive oil because each tablespoon has 120 calories. Man, I would take an avocado has 300 calories. So between that, what up, Nancy? Between that and oil, between the avocado and the oil, I was at 400 or 500 calories, and I was trying to do 1,500 calories a day. I'd be hungry as a hostage. Now I take an avocado with lemon, oh man, sea salt, and I'll pour olive oil on this thing. I must use a cup of olive oil on this thing. And I'll do that before my meal. And I tell you, I have lost more weight and I eat more calories than I've ever eaten in my whole life. And it's nice to know that I can sit down and I can eat 2, 3, if I wanted to eat 2,000 calories in a meal and not gain any weight. And it's all because of the food order and the order that I eat my food: fibers, proteins, fats, then starches, if any. If you do that, I'm telling you, you can forget counting calories. You can kill your gym membership. And when you go out, like for instance, if I'm go out with friends, I'll do vinegar first, and I'll eat like broccoli sprouts or an avocado before I go hang out with my friends, so I don't have to argue with their dumb asses about diet and eating to live and all that stuff. So it's a hack that I use. My buddy wanted to go out and have drinks and food, and I pulled vinegar out. She was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, this is going to reduce my glucose spike from hanging out with you." I don't even like mushroom coffee.
I drink mushroom coffee. Mushroom coffee is supposed to be better for you because it's mushrooms. Obviously vitamin D it's a few types of mushrooms. Lion mane, I think it's called chichaga, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I actually, if I drink coffee, it is mushroom coffee. I've been hearing about coffee called Rise, Rise, but I get the more generic brand because mushroom coffee ain't cheap. The one I buy is like $10 for a can or jar, about like that big. So it's expensive. But if I drink coffee, I do drink mushroom coffee. I don't drink it every day, but it ain't really cold enough for me to do it just yet. So I'm gonna get to some of these other questions really quick. Oh, somebody was talking about Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness. He used to be on the African Diaspora News Channel, but he's now on the Rock Newman Show. I like Nathaniel Jordan. He is funny. When I say he is funny, he'll make you think twice about any holiday. He calls it what is it? Killoween, Halloween, Thanksgiving. I mean, he's very colorful, but he gets the point across.
And you guys, you realize Thanksgiving came from when they used to kill Indians. They would have a dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner. That's what that comes from. Is when they would go out and kill the Indians, they would do a Thanksgiving dinner. That's where Thanksgiving comes from. After they massacred the Indians, every time they did that, they'd have a Thanksgiving dinner. At the supposedly Thanksgiving dinner, they poisoned the Indians. So, like,
And I think he was more or less too. And let me see here. And Robert, you said yes, absolutely. Elijah Muhammad did say not to eat mushrooms. My dad, he will not touch a mushroom, peanuts, none of that kind of stuff. So yeah, you're right. It does talk about those things as well. Your average logical thinker, how you doing? He says, I love wings too. I do too, but I'm better off being plant-based because meat just don't look right on me. You know what I mean? And Tracy, I saw you two saying about salt swelling you up. It's the same thing for me. I eat too much salt. And that's why a lot of people, they look all swollen and bloated because they're just having side effects from eating so much salt. And then a lot of times with vegan food, as you were saying, Tracy, a lot of people have to zhuzh it up with a whole bunch of spices and seasonings and sauces and all kind of stuff. And it's like, no, just get used to eating more whole foods that don't need all of that. It's really a taste bud adjustment. I'm not saying you can't fashion your plant-based foods that taste good, but if you got to do all of that to it, it's like they say, you eat a salad and you pour ranch on it, you might as well just eat a hamburger because the ranch is not good for you at all, right? So yeah, but wings are the bomb. I just can't eat them, you know. And Jason, how you doing? Says y'all are probably in the third ward, and we were. Well, I had Frenchie's Chicken. Remember we pulled in there, was looking at houses over there.
Frenchie's Chicken. I remember going to Turkey Leg. I remember going to that soul food restaurant on Sunday. That spot.
It was Dino and Deanna, and then right before we went to that big giant house that was kind of like a boarding house, and we sat in the parking lot before you and Deanna. Yeah.
I remember the third ward. They food. I mean, the food tastes good. I get it. It's cool. So it's good sometimes. You know, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect. Sometimes, man. The other day, it was Sunday night. I made dinner and I was like, you know what? I feel like being destructive. We went out and got a cheesecake, the whole thing. Now, yesterday I threw it away. But I felt like getting a cheesecake. And I said, I feel like being destructive. And while we're at it, let's just, we made a Kahlua drink and just went all out, stuff that I wouldn't normally do. I said, let's just hit the body all at once. And tomorrow we can repair it. So yeah.
And Harley, I'm sorry, Michelle, how you doing? You're right. It is spelled Rise is RYZE. So it's Rise coffee. That's the more popular brand. I just get something else. I don't get Rise, but it is mushroom. And Donna says good fats, olive oil, avocado, etc., will help suppress hunger. That is true. And like you said, it's just really learning what to eat. I'm at 1 meal a day. Sometimes if I'm hungry, I might have a smoothie or something like that later on. And I want to say too about their smoothies, man, Japan, they got it going on. I ain't gonna lie when it comes to the food, especially, their 7-Elevens aren't like our 7-Elevens here. Their 7-Elevens, they actually have like Whole Foods and things like that. And they have a smoothie machine, which I had a smoothie almost every day that I was there. Before we would go walking for the day, we'd stop and get whatever we wanted from there. Their smoothies consist of some kale, and I know in How to Eat to Live, we ain't supposed to be eating kale either. I'm put that out there. They had kale, pineapple, and mango, and then you put the little cup, and it's a little cup. It's not no big giant smoothie that you get over here. I don't know. It's probably 8 ounces, and it puts a little water in there, and then it does its thing, and you got a smoothie, but it's not protein powders, peanut butter, milk, and all the other stuff we put in smoothies over here. It's just water, fruit, and vegetables, and it was delicious. In fact, when we got back, I made pre-made smoothie baggies too, and freeze them and just throw them in the blender and add water and got a smoothie. I was like, you'll surely lose some weight there because you don't have all the additives in it. Tracy says mushroom coffee seems to be a big thing on Instagram and made me wonder. Yeah. Rise is it's expensive. $40 for some coffee. No, not gonna do that. And then Donnie says black coffee will keep you autophagy. Uh, and Walter explained what that is. That's go ahead.
So autophagy, what happens is autophagy is when your good cells start eating the bad cells. Autophagy is a form of cleanup. So, but your body can only do that when you stop feeding. Because what happens is when every time you eat, not only do you shut down your fat burning system, then your stomach has to go to work. When you don't eat, your body then starts looking for other fuel sources and other means to survive, and it will start eating the dead cells, the dead mitochondria that are laying around. It will start eating those, and then at the same time, what it's doing is it starts eating through your fat storage. So that's why our ancestors, they would go days without eating. So the the autophagy allows the body to clean itself, and then also the body starts using fat for fuel. Like when I went 21 days with no food, I'll tell you, and I'll get to this question. Day two, my body was, I was doing kung fu fighting by myself. Mentally, I was fighting myself. And day three, I lost all hunger. I did Thanksgiving parties, my birthday, everything. I would walk through a smorgasbord. I had zero hunger. Matter of fact, when I ate on day 22, I only did it because it was my homegirl's birthday party. And I was like, okay, 21 days is what I shot for. And I had to force myself to eat that day. So that's what autophagy is. It's a cleaner. If you eat, like if you want to start, just eat early in the morning and then don't eat. Drink a bunch of water, green tea. If you want to do black coffee, go ahead. Um, a lot of things that won't spike your insulin, because what happens is you don't want to eat things that break the fast. Um, yeah, and another thing, kill breakfast. Like if you're eating breakfast, just skip it because your body wakes up, it's in fat burning mode. You eat, it shuts it down. Stop eating breakfast. Break the fast. Breakfast is just when you break the fast. You can do that at 6 p.m. Um, when I do butter, I do butter. I don't do margarine. I don't do the man made stuff. I do the stuff that comes out the cow, comes out the goat. You know what I'm saying? I do the natural version of it. And I rarely, if I do butter, I'll do it from Europe, Germany, France. I don't eat American butter. Make sure it's grass fed. You have to really go through um, the butters. And then if I do cheese, which is rare, I do only do goat cheese. I don't eat any other cheese unless I'm just out at a restaurant and I just feel like being destructive. Um, and butter, if you're gonna do that, just do it in its natural form. Get you. I don't know where you are, but you can order butter too. From what I understand, you could order it from overseas. Or when I went to Europe, I bought a bunch of it back, snuck it in my suitcase, um, and I'm running out, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But
What is that you snuck in your suitcase?
butter, but butter, cheese, man. You go to Paris, they have cheese shops all over the place, and the ladies cut the cheese. She's bringing out the big old block and giving you a slice. She's like, "This is fresh from the goat, fresh from the cow." So that's how I would do it. I would do butter, margarine, these all these substitutes. Because think about this, that stuff they have to do things to it to get it to turn into a margarine. In the 60s, Americans were healthier, they were skinnier. When we started going to margarine, low fat, the obesity chart went boom. And that's because we got, away from some of the more natural stuff. That's a long-winded um, answer, but I hope that helped. Vegan butter.
So, let's see here. I wanted to get the specifics on this question here. Just make sure I didn't. And Turner, how are you doing today? I'm gonna put this up and then I'll go back. Your average logical thinker says, "Wait, what's wrong with kale?" And Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, "Do not eat the vegetable kale nor sweet potatoes and white Irish potatoes, which are a staple food for people who live in frigid zones or for people who cannot afford other vegetables."
Yeah, I see the thing about kale. I see a lot of people saying, um, to stay away from kale. I actually stopped eating kale from some of the research and stuff that I saw. Um, there's a lot of things you can get. There's a lot of other places you can get protein and some of the things that come from kale. Um, and I don't know if it's really good or bad. I started seeing more people saying not to eat kale, and the fact that it's in that Eat to Live book is probably, you know, probably a good idea to follow it. So, I'm telling you, there's so many other things. Really, what you want in your body a lot is you want fiber. Food just, I mean, food just, I mean, fiber does so many things for you. Like fiber keeps you regular. Like, the Metamucil and all that stuff is fiber. You know what I'm saying? So like if you get enough fiber in your system, it allows stuff to flow through. And once I learned, like, when you eat, like, let's say for instance, I don't even have nothing in my house like that. But let's say I was gonna eat a donut or I don't know, sugar. That stuff goes straight to your blood system. There's no mesh, there's no protection. When you coat your body with fiber, the sugar and stuff flows through and it doesn't go into your system right away, which means it could go through you, and that's how people stay healthier, and thinner, if that's what you're looking for.
And Arniva, I did not, and maybe I just because I wasn't looking for it, but I want to say I did not see soda machines. I don't think they had a big gulp machine or cups or anything like that. I didn't see it. They did have sodas, but they weren't like they had. I want to say they had Coca-Cola products, but I don't remember seeing them in 7-Eleven. Maybe just because I wasn't looking for it, but they, in the restaurants they have them. But let me tell you something: the Cokes or the drinks that you're getting in restaurants, like this is a regular size cup, I would imagine. It's got water in there. It's, I don't know, 16 ounces. Probably half of that. Everything is, all their portions are small. And Reggie, you're over there, so you can attest to that too. They're small. Hamburgers about that big, maybe about that big. And I got a plant-based one, which is not like Impossible Meat Eater. It's like really like a plant-based patty. And I'm like, nah, if somebody got served this over there in the United States, they would be like, where the rest of it? And then the French fries, they gave you maybe like 10 of them at the most. And it's like, well, I'm tell y'all, if you greedy, don't go over to Japan thinking you finna get full unless you just ordering a whole bunch of food, because their portions are, I would imagine, human size, But over here, we're just used to getting so much food to where a lot of times if my daughter and I go out somewhere, we'll share because it's just so much food for me to get a plate and then her to get a plate. And it's like, golly, we're not going to eat all this food. So, but over there, yeah, they're going to make sure your stomach get just enough. But no, I didn't see any big gulps. Let's see here. Decaf coffee. I mean, it's supposed to not have the caffeine. I don't know. I'd imagine depending on what kind of coffee it is, it wouldn't be too bad for you. It's just, I think, too, the stuff that you put in the coffee. Because a lot of people won't drink black coffee. They'll put creams and sugars and, all the other stuff. And it's fall now, so people are having pumpkin spice, everything. I actually cooked a pumpkin the other day, and I blended it up so I can make my own pumpkin flavored coffee, if you will, but it was an organic pumpkin and all of that. And Gwen, he says, I don't eat after 5 p.m. I'm so small, my stomach shrunk. Therefore, I can't eat too much, but I love it. So much energy. Yes, you're on the money. It's, a lot of people say don't eat after a certain time at night because you start to slow down, right? And then you got all that food on you, and all of that. But
I have spent the past decade literally
what's
mentoring.
that?
Oh, my phone is.
Let's say, yeah, trying to eat small portions, and eventually your stomach will adapt. I know that I have, since I really just been trying to eat once a day. My stomach has adapted. Sometimes I don't even eat until like 5 o'clock. I'm like, maybe I should eat something today, So you do adapt. And attorney says eat 1 meal per day, nothing in between. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Diabetes is 1,000% curable. That's what they say. All right, so let me skip down a little bit and acknowledging people I have not seen on here before. Harley says, I buy toothpaste without fluoride. Yes, I use Neem, Neem toothpaste. with neem and other natural stuff in there. But I haven't used regular toothpaste in years. I don't use regular deodorant. When I say regular, I mean with the aluminum and all the chemicals and stuff in there. It's all natural products. I don't put lotion on my skin. It's shea butter. I actually wash my face now. I've been doing it for the last couple of months with coconut oil, and I might put some oregano oil in it, just a little bit because oregano oil is strong. There's a tiny bit just to kind of as an antiseptic. Coconut oil is an antiseptic too, but I wash it with coconut oil and hot water. I actually got it from my daughter, and wash my face like that, really good, and then steam it with a hot rag, and they kind of wipe the excess off, and then maybe once a week I'll actually go in with some soap just to kind of if I got build up and a little bit of an exfoliant, but I stopped washing my face with soap every day. Um, just trying to minimize the amount of chemicals that I put on my body, all natural shampoo and oils and all of that. So I'm a work in progress, but your skin is your largest organ, so it does absorb chemicals. So it doesn't make any sense to really eat healthy and then put a bunch of chemicals on your skin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Stuff on deodorant. I don't wear deodorant. I really.
That's what that smells, Ben.
Guys, a shower a day can help with that. And a lot of you guys, food. I'm telling you, I don't want to keep repeating it, but food is related to so many things. When I grabbed control of my diet, it's just a lot of things I didn't have to do anymore. Like I don't wear deodorant. I just shower every day and I eat the right things. I don't know if you noticed, I shaved my head bald. I need to redo it. I was giving my guy $100 a month. He used to charge me 30. Then he went to 50 twice a month. And the 2 hours trying to get it, I just shaved my head. I was like, you know what? I'm doing things to one, save money, two, try and buy my time back, and then be healthier. So as far as deodorant, I would try cutting it, maybe change your diet. Because like putting stuff under your arms, your body's supposed to sweat. That's the whole point. When you block the sweat, then like you are fighting a body's natural order. It's supposed to sweat to get rid of toxins and other things. So when you block the sweat, what do you think you're doing to your body? I mean, some of those things, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and go all out because my habits aren't the greatest. But I told girl I'm seeing, I go, you know what? You don't need to wear all that makeup around me. I said, I wake up in bed with you. You don't see me running down the street butt naked trying to get away from you. So you can cut some of that makeup off and the Botox parties and all that crap you be doing. Girl, give that money to me.
You go to Botox parties. And this is Alex, how you doing? He says, this is good knowledge and thank you, by the way. And thank you for joining us. He says, please share the books and doctors again. And as far as doctors, there's Dr. Eric Berg, there's Dr. Bobby Price, and they're all on YouTube. Dr. Sabi, of course,
is the bomb.
And that book there's a whole bunch of information out there. What was you saying though? You said something I forgot. But yeah, it's deodorant. You're supposed to sweat, and they say you can actually. Dr. Sabi, they said you can use limes. I have used limes, and they do work. You don't smell or anything like that. I just I'm too lazy to be going up in the kitchen and slicing them limes every day. So I got some natural deodorant that doesn't have all that going on because it's your glands are right there, and because I have to actually go have a mammogram, my annual mammogram, if you will. On this Friday, and every time I go for one, they say don't wear deodorant or perfumes or any lotions in that area because they don't want it to get in the way of this. I guess the screening, the X-ray or whatever they're doing, the mammogram. But I just think it's wise not to, like Walter said, plug up your pores. You are supposed to sweat. Now, if you real funky like, and some people have body odor. It might be your diet. And, not to even really kind of, get too spicy, if you will. For a lot of I'm just saying, I'm going to go with that. So for some of the ladies, it's like, and the men too, y'all ain't exempt. Your lower regions getting the smelling kind of.
Oh, she got the coochie stink.
You stupid. You stupid. it probably has a lot to do with the diet. You know what I mean? Because it's an orifice down the orifices and whatever down there, and you know other smells and stuff. I'm trying to really.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it down on the line.
So your diet, but your diet has a lot to do with how you smell. I'm just gonna put it like that.
Yeah, diet in the shower. You'd be surprised what you can get done. I mean, it's funny. You think if you eat chocolate cake, that's not going. You are what you eat, and you are what you eat eats. Something to think about too. So I mean, a lot of the stuff be cured with food. And here's the other thing about not eating 3 times a day is the money you save, the time you save by not cooking, sitting in drive-through, fast. Oh Lord have mercy! Like when I see people in a Chick Fil A line or Popeyes line for 25, 30, I'm like, these guys don't have nothing else to do. It take you 10 minutes to eat the food, but an hour. That's like, think about this. When you go to a fine dining restaurant, imagine sitting at the restaurant for waiting for an hour, sitting at the bar, waiting to get your table, and just to have dinner be 5 minutes. When you go to a nice restaurant, how long is dinner? Even Papa Do's, you're there an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Right? So fast food, the whole drive-through and McDonald's. And you ask the question, why do these CEOs, do they care? No, they out for the money. And if I'm CEO of McDonald's, their job is to get you coming back. MSG, all white bread, brown bread, most of it in this country is trash too. The job is to get you back, right? If I'm trying to make money, I mean, I don't fault Chick Fil A. Their job is to make money. That's it. They don't have any other purpose. They didn't make chicken to serve the planet. Oh, I'm going to help humanity. No, they want money. And I don't have a problem with that. Just understand what you're getting yourself into.
Brother Sam, you say what foods are good to help with liver. I just Googled it real quick. It says coffee, tea. I wouldn't imagine that coffee would, but this is what this is saying. But I definitely know that blueberries and leafy greens, that's what's on here, are good for liver repair. But the other thing too is about liver and anything part of your body. And not saying this about you, Brother Samuel, but don't jack it up. You know what I mean? Try your best not to cause it any harm. From what I understand too, they said the liver can regenerate itself every 60 to 90 days or something like that, or maybe 6 months. Don't quote me because I'm not a health professional, but
yeah, the liver can the liver replaces itself every so often, assuming you don't destroy it, you don't have too much fat around it. I mean, once you destroy the liver, it won't repair. And again, blueberries, I'm telling you guys, blueberries are the business. If you buy blueberries, buy them organic and frozen. Because what happens is when you take fruit, once you separate fruit and vegetable from the vine, it starts to die immediately. So what I do is I buy frozen blueberries, organic. So they take them and they freeze them. And when you freeze fruit, it stops the nutrient loss. And so I'll do that. And then I'll take them and I'll put them in a salad. Or what I'll do before I'll eat, if I don't have an avocado, I'll eat a handful of blueberries for the fiber to coat my system to block from the glucose spike from the food. So, and then I just started drinking blueberry juice, which is off the hook. I mean, I eat the blueberries too. Drinking fruit juice by itself is sugar, but like I make sure what I've been doing lately is just squeezing the blueberries and making a juice from it, which is, and from some of y'all that want to get it twisted, you can do blueberry juice and vodka. I mean, you know, mix it with the Chris, ain't nothing wrong with that. Do whatever you need to do. But blueberry juice is off the hook, assuming you eat the fiber also.
Yeah, and Turner, I keep seeing you talking about that navy bean. Of course, that's a staple of the Nation of Islam. Y'all use navy beans for just about everything, that bean pies, but the soup more specifically. And when I first went back plant-based, I made some bean soup. And when I tell you it was the bomb, however, just beans in general is like, my stomach. So, got I guess by the way to where it doesn't do that, or maybe just need to get used to it or whatever. But it was so good. I was like, wow. When it gets colder, especially, I'm gonna start making more bean soup. But it was so delicious. I was like, wow, I should have been doing this a lot sooner. I have before, but really just to kind of incorporate it back into my diet. I got a cabinet full of them. Uh, and your average logical thinker, he says, so if you drink enough water and eliminate sugar, you won't smell in your armpits. Um, from what I understand, body odor has a lot to do with what you eating. Because sometimes you ever smell somebody who drinks a lot, and they'll say, "Oh, it's coming out of their pores. You can smell the alcohol through their pores." Well, it's the same thing when you eat. Certain populations, they eat a lot of garlic and they smell like garlic. It's just kind of like their body odor, right? Um, so yeah, certain foods you eat, they say like some people who eat a lot of meat, they have like a metal smell, and not to be gross, but for women sometimes down there it's like a metal smell, and then sometimes you can end up with like a metal taste in your mouth. So yeah, what you eat will sometimes, you can smell it. I'm just saying. Uh, let's see here. It says, and Star Child says, I must thank God for being a natural beauty. Yeah, I mean, that's what we should be striving to be, right? As natural as possible. And let's see here. I'm gonna skip on down. And Donna, you say juice lemons and put in a spray bottle for deodorant. That's a good idea. And, I didn't think of that. Only thing about, because anytime I've done like juices in a spray bottle, I guess you have to keep it in the refrigerator. It's probably a good idea, not in my bathroom. It's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to put that on me. It smells funny. But I didn't think of that. Actually, I'm gonna try to do that with some limes, and see how that works out. But I will say, when my diet is better, I don't get musty per se if I don't wear deodorant. So that's a good way to eliminate that as well. And then Robert, he says, I heard Minister Farrakhan said that they are sterilizing our sisters with these maxi pads and perfumes. He said, clean yourselves like grandma did. Yeah, I 100% believe that.
They used to take the bottles, hot water and vinegar, and
Now, how many kids was playing with that, not knowing what their mamas was doing?
It's like eating Phenamint gum, thinking it was regular gum.
I remember Walter did that. He ate some what was it? The relaxative gum.
It was Phenamint, and I thought it was regular gum, and I had like 3 or 4 of them.
Woo! He was stuck in that bathroom for a hot minute.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah, microwave. I don't use a microwave at all. Do not use a microwave, and I'm not shaming anybody who does. I just don't, because it does kill the nutrients. I know it's very convenient to heat the food up. It's quick, but listen. This is how old Walter and I are, and Walter's a lot older than me. But we remember when we didn't have no microwave. Remember when we first got our microwave?
Yeah.
It was like all the rage. It was like, oh my God, we got a microwave. This is so cool. But before you got that, you heat it up on the stove, or you open the oven, you wait till your food, heat up or whatever. We had more patience back then, but nowadays people are like, I can't wait all day for the food to heat up in the oven. It's like, dude, it's only gonna take like 15 minutes. Get the oven nice and hot, and it'll be like 15 minutes. But we had a lot of patience then. But I don't use microwave. I just choose not to. Let's see here. And Super Mike, how you doing? Let's see here. And thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. You say soak beans for at least 24 hours and scrape the foam off. Okay, so I did soak the beans and I rinsed them off. Is that how we're going to get rid of, having your stomach bloat like really bad, looking like, 30 months pregnant? Like I said, they're the bomb, but oh man, it'd be like a bomb went off after a while, But again, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that. And your average logical thinker says, thank you for the knowledge. So appreciate it. And thank you for being here. And also thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. Love you dearly. I just saw this comment right here. Oh, so yeah, that's some experts that say that women do not need to do that because and y'all know what it is, cleans itself. Now, if you got some other stuff going on down there that you need that in the back of the day, and in fact, you guys know that women would use, and I think it's Lysol or something like that, some a cleaning chemical in the douche bottle because they just were, taught that from somewhere that that's what you should do, but it cleans itself. But as I said, if you got something else going on down there that you need that, because what happens is douches disrupt the pH balance, and it could cause you, other things like yeast infection, or maybe not yeast, but vaginosis, and things like that. So you don't really need to be doing all that. And if it got some issues, you might want to go to the doctor and say, "Hey, you got something for me down there?" I don't know.
Or maybe you could douche with water, or you can sit your ass in the tub every day, or you
But
just
let me tell you about the
put a chair
tub.
in the shower. Just some
But
things you can do for that.
But let me tell you about the tub. I have not taken a bath, like a bath in a bath, in years. Because I did some research, and once I thought about the nature of a bath, it's like, well, you soaking in all that dirty water. And for those where everybody has holes, right, down there to some degree, you're actually having dirty bacterial water go in those holes. So I wanted to ask my doctor about it. We had a long conversation. He says, yeah, showers are optimal because you are sitting in dirty water. And it's your stuff is it's getting the dirty water in there. So I was like, I thought so. So I haven't taken a bath. Yeah, a shower now. Don't get it messed up. I want nobody to try to take an excerpt of this and say, oh, she ain't taking no baths like white people. No, I take showers every day, but baths, no. I don't like to soak in the water. Uh And let's see here. And Supermarket says, I don't excuse these capitalists for poisoning food. Yeah, it's all about knowing, right? Okay, so let's see here. I was
And
wondering.
I don't know if they're necessarily out to poison the population. What they are is to get mass production of it. So the more you eat, the longer it lasts, then the less waste they have. So if you could put something and have it out, like, and have it last, then the people, they can eat it. Or if you can make something, make something that people will eat more of by putting the chemicals in it because it tastes better. I mean, they're just looking to make a profit. That's it. They're trying to get paid. And I don't know how many yachts you need, but that's their mission. But there's enough stuff on the internet and YouTube before they start shutting it down that you can do for your health. I'm telling you, man, once you get control of your food, a lot of that other stuff like acne, that stuff is food. You know, inflammation diseases, which is most people die when they do die, they prematurely, they die from an inflammatory disease, be it cancer or whatnot. I mean, that stuff is food related. It's diet and exercise. And people say, "Oh, I this jogger, he jogged every day and had a heart attack." Well, what did he eat? You know what I'm saying? You'd be better taking a walk, which is really good too. When you eat, dinner, you should walk. In Europe, they move, they walk. Walking, sex, dinner, movie, and or whatever, dinner, movie, and like sexual intercourse is huge. 45 minutes, an hour and a half of just straight getting it on will burn all kind of, like, move the glucose right to the muscles. I'm not saying that's why I lost weight. I'm sure it contributed to some of it. I like to believe the gym is in my bedroom, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Please do, brother. And Kiki, you say, yep, that's why I don't do swimming pools, big bathtubs, swimming in everyone else's dirt. Man, you said a word right there. You know what? It's been years since I've gotten in a public pool, but I did get in one when my nieces came out here over the summer. It was so hot. We went to a water park or whatever it was, and I normally just kind of sit out. But that day I was like, I'm gonna have to get in. It's very hot. I did reluctantly. It wasn't too bad, but periodically as I was in that water, I was like, I'm literally swimming with everybody else. Now they had chlorine in there for days, which can't be that much better for you. But I typically don't make it a habit of getting in. To me, they're like public baths, public pools are. So I don't do it. Let's see here. And Gwen, he said, I save so much money, I cook my own dishes. Yep, you will. I mean, imagine when you go out to eat, uh, all the money you spend on a dish, and then like, cause I'm like that. Every once in a while I go out and eat, but then I'm like, damn, we could have made this at home for a lot cheaper, and then have some leftovers or whatever. But you pay for the experience sometimes. And Robbie says you can take a bath, just get up and shower off. Yeah, but I think the for me the premise is while you're soaking, because a shower you ain't gonna be able to get all that stuff out of your holes. You know what I mean? So I don't know unless you have a way you could do that. I just like to take a shower. Now, mind you, my shower ain't no 5 minutes. Sometimes they're very disrespectfully long. When we were in Japan, Donovan was on my damn bumper every day. Why does it take you so long to get dressed? I'm like, it ain't taking me that long just because you hopping in and out or whatever. I want to make sure I'm clean everywhere. So, okay, so let's see here. And your average, he says, my friend does detox baths with apple cider vinegar, baking soda, and bentonite clay. She slept. She says she slept the best ever afterwards. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. Yeah, and traditionally too, you give children baths and stuff to kind of calm them down or whatever. I just, for me, choose not to do it. And plus, it's just kind of faster because if I get in a bath, and the one thing I hate about taking baths too is when you first get in there, the water's piping hot. You're like, yeah, you know how Bugs Bunny when he was getting in the water and it was too hot, he was like, psh, psh. See, I like my water that hot, but then after 5 minutes, you get in there, it's like it ain't hot no more. It's just kind of lukewarm. I don't like sitting in lukewarm water.
You can learn a lot from Bugs Bunny. You can't beat him, join him. But yeah, I mean, listen. There's so many things. If you just take 10, 15, 20 minutes out of your day, like what I like to do is wake up in the morning and plan out my health day. Turn on the sauna, determine if I'm gonna get in the jacuzzi, figure out what I'm gonna eat. Because really, that's your health. And as you get older, you guys, like I used to be afraid of aging. And just by getting up and like planning out your day, like saying, you know what, here's what I'm gonna eat today. I know my friends like to go to lunch at work, but I ain't gonna do that. When I used to go out with my friends, I would eat before I went out with them. And I'd be sitting there with something small, a salad, and I would just look like the crazy dude in the room. But I just looking around the room, my boys, my friends, none of them could see their feet. And I didn't want to be a can't see my feeder. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my boys, and he helped me. We lost weight together. And he was like, man, I remember I went to bend down to tie my shoe and I had to catch my breath because my stomach was in the way. So you get control of that. And there's another book if you want to read. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Oh man, it is off the hook. It talks about little things, little by little. Like when I was trying to lose weight, I used to say I'm gonna lose 40 pounds in a month. That's stupidity. I set a goal to lose when I was 200 pounds to get to like 190. And I gave myself like 2 or 3 months to do that. It took me, I think I lost like 20 pounds the first month when I changed my diet, started fasting. I cut alcohol out for 30 days. Alcohol is huge when it comes to losing weight. Because when you drink alcohol, because your liver is what burns fat. Alcohol blocks that. That's why they have beer bellies. People that drink a lot of alcohol, especially with all the chemicals in it, like the pina colada, all the crap in the pina colada, the cream, Lord have mercy. Margaritas, I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, they said some of those drinks comprise of like 700-800 calories with all the stuff that they put in it. It's like,
oh man,
is it really worth it?
If you're gonna drink alcohol, drink wine, like red wine, even some white wines, some sparkling wines are better for you. Alcohol does not spike your glucose, or it does not spike your sugar. I was happy to find that out. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I try not to. As I get older, I try and reduce my alcohol intake. Um, but when you drink alcohol, it just goes right to the liver and it blocks fat burning. So people that drink a lot of alcohol, you see them happy hour, they roll around at the bar and their stomach over here. You know what I'm saying? That's why they put lips on the bar so you can hide your stomach. So
For
alcohol,
real?
oh, I'm sure because that way you can roll up under it. So alcohol is huge. Like I stopped drinking alcohol. I've done it in the last year twice, gone 20, 30 days, no alcohol. And I know that had a lot to do with my weight loss. So I know it's easier said than done. Alcohol is everywhere. But if you're going to drink, do drink stuff straight, like a vodka or a whiskey, drink it straight. When you take, I don't know what's in a pina colada. I don't know what, I think it's rum. And I think rum, when I hear people talk about alcohol, which one to drink, I don't really hear them ever say rum. But if you're gonna take rum and then add the whipped cream and all the crap they put in the pina colada, I mean, you're killing yourself with sugar and the alcohol. So, and yeah, black people, we are overweight. I mean, I don't know if we're the biggest. I can't say that. Because I see all races pushing 400 lbs.
Yeah, we're pretty up there as far as obesity. Um,
You know what? I must go ahead and say I was trying to be nice to us because I'm trying to be easier, honest. But you know what's? Without sounding like Donovan, when I do go out and I see our sisters, I do see a lot of times they're the heaviest ones in the room, and all of them be heavy. And I want to go up to them and say, "Hey, you know what? Have you read this book? I get it because I used to be overweight.
you want to lose your life too, don't you?
I mean, but like you'll sit up in church and the preacher will cuss you out in the name of God, but then like somebody come up to you and say, "Hey," like I said to a friend of mine, she's bitching about her weight, and I sent her a picture of this, and she said, "Oh, you calling me fat? No, you called yourself fat."
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hear it. Yo, dumbass, we go out to lunch and you order a Diet Coke. Well, how much sense does that make?
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want the sugar, but you're gonna get the aspartame. Aspartame is just. You might as well just drink the regular Coke because the aspartame is, I guess, the artificial sweetener, and it's got a lot of chemicals, and it's been said. Don't quote me because I'm not a professional. That it has caused people a lot of health issues. Aspartame. I won't touch it at all. If I see something has it in it, I'm like, nope, I don't want it.
Just drink the Coke for God's sake.
Or drink it with the sugar. Like if you get Cokes from Mexico, look at the difference because they usually sell theirs in a glass bottle. If you drink Cokes that come from Mexico, it says pure cane sugar, but the Cokes over here it says high fructose corn syrup. So if you're gonna drink a Coke, just drink it with the sugar. But the high fructose corn syrup and all of that, yeah, not so much. But you'll notice it and you see the difference in those, and they have them in the bottles.
So, and I know this is a money show, so we should throw a couple. Y'all got some questions we could deal with that, you guys, because there is a lot going on financially in the world. And as a business owner, I see it all the time. I'm in the auto industry, I'm doing some other things, and I can tell you, I can see the change. I'm seeing, I just put my house back on Airbnb last week. You saw people walking in and out of my house. I put my room back on Airbnb. That's an extra $1,500 a month, which, that adds up, but I'm seeing people struggling. My Airbnb, it used to be a lot of travelers and business people. Now I'm getting people that are like, oh, we're looking for an apartment. We've been looking for 2 months. And I'm just like, damn. I see them out there in their car, grabbing, changing clothes and, bringing their laundry in. I'm just like, it's about to get nuts out there. So if you guys aren't, everything your thoughts should be, am I taking care of myself? Am I putting money away? And I'm telling all my friends, man, get you a piece of land. I don't care if you put a charging station on it. Girl I'm talking to, she's talking about buying, charging stations. Because in California, you can't charge your car nowhere. And crooked Joe Biden, they're enforcing that stuff. I almost got into a fight last weekend at a car charger because homeboy had 2 car chargers blocked. And then went in the store, came, shit was charged, and he gone. He come back. I want to wrestle his ass. And the guy behind me giving me the finger because I'm blocking anyways. So
so now y'all who banging over charging stations now in California?
I'm telling you, man, I had this Chinese lady give me the middle finger at a car charger a couple months ago because I ain't nowhere. There's no telling you, the car chargers are nowhere. So we are talking about buying a piece of property with electricity and putting charging stations on it. You know, I have my property in Joshua Tree, no charging stations. So I'm thinking about putting 3 or 4 charging stations on my property and letting letting the public pull up outside and charge from my station. You know, so like when you own land, you could do stuff. Like I told a friend of mine, I go, you know what? If the shit hits the fan, I can take a little RV that I can buy from Craigslist and I can park it on my property and plug it into my water supply and I can live in my RV. Yeah, it's not going to be sexy, but I ain't going to be carrying my shit door to door, dragging it in a shopping cart. I ain't going to be going through all that. And I know I'm far from that, but I'm just making a point. Like, you need to be doing these things. You guys, if you aren't doing these things, this is going to become a time where you're going to be forced with that. Like, those of you with jobs, forget it. Man, Wells Fargo announced they are laying off more people today.
They closed a couple of branches not too long ago, right?
They sure did. They are shutting down branches. They went from every day till 6 p.m. to Monday through Friday to 5 p.m. They're cutting back. Walmart, they're implementing what Walmart started doing is blocking the cashiers. Before, you used to be able to look down and see that there was nobody there. What they've done is they've built an aisle and they put merchandise in what used to be the checkout stand. And so they're eliminating the people. And so it's happening more and more. If you sitting at work punching the clock and you think your job is secure, man, you have another thing coming. I tell you. And moving in with your mama ain't always the best, ain't gonna always be an option.
And you know, if you're our age and your mama ain't here, you ain't got a mama to move in with no more. So you gotta kind of, it's just about being smart, because if we're and how you doing, Will? Thank you for joining us. If you are, seeing what's going on out there in the world, it's getting bad. It really is, so we got to just figure out ways to sustain ourselves in what's to come and what's going on. I mean, got so many people sleeping in their cars now that we're not doing that probably even 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months ago. So
buy yourself some land. I'll give you the math. You can buy a piece of land. I don't care where it's at, Alabama. Don't matter. It could be an acre, half. It don't matter. You can go on Amazon and you can buy, they have a portable shower. It's a little propane tank and it's a little water tank. And it comes with this own it's a portable shower. It's under $200. And all you need is a water supply. You see people with little water buckets and they'll run the water through this portable shower. The propane, it heats up the water. And you see them when people go camping, they have to shower, the little plastic shower and the portable shower. With the tent, the little tent and the system for under $300, you could have your own portable shower. And all you need is a water source. There are companies that will come out and deliver water to your property. All you need is one of those big water tanks. I think they're like $1,200 and they'll hold a bunch of water. The point I'm making is if you can get your hands on water and with a portable shower and some propane and you had a piece of land, worst come to worst, you could take a shower every day. And even like today, I was at the auto auction and they had this old Econo. Remember the big Econo vans, the big white ones, like the kind that pull up in your neighborhood and you grab your kids? They wanted $1,800. It had 250,000 miles. I almost bought it because I was like, I can take that van and put some beds in the back and fix it up a little bit, take it to my property in Joshua Tree. So instead of getting an Airbnb, I can just sleep in my van and get one of those portable showers, you know what I'm saying? Or take a whole bath at Jack in the Box and keep it moving.
Did you say a whole bath at Jack in the Box?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking in survival mode, what would I have to do?
Well, because a lot of people they're getting gym memberships, like at Planet Fitness is like $10 or whatever, so they can take a shower every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even that is an idea. I'm not saying plan on that, but like, man, I'm telling you, my saving grace is I know no matter if Joe Biden is reelected, I know that I can go to my property with a small RV and a water source and a portable shower, and I can survive.
And make room for me. I'm get me a RV and I'm gonna park it right next to yours.
You know what I said? I got 5 acres. I mean, you can go to Texas and buy an acre for nothing. Louisiana, Alabama, geez, Louise. Some of y'all down south, man, I don't get it. How you don't own property, even get you a $10,000 plot of land. You could just, I don't know.
And Turner, you're absolutely right about the survival kits. 3 month supply, and that it consists of water and canned foods if you have to. I know Walter has a garage full of canned foods that he wouldn't ordinarily eat, but if an emergency happened or whatever, he would eat. So that's what I try to do. I just as they say in the nation, story of food and water, right? um but I want to leave out of here talking about this book. You guys always ask me about books that I read or that I've read. uh, I knew it was gonna be kind of hard to see. Y'all see that? I think I showed y'all this once before.
Is that a roach?
It's a big giant cockroach called The Metamorphosis. And I actually had to read this in college back in the day, English. And it was the weirdest book to me. I didn't really ascertain all of it back then, but I thought about it because my daughter actually had to read it too when she was in college, and we were talking about it. I said, I'm gonna order it again. I'm gonna read it. So I read it, and it's about this guy named Gregor, right? Uh, and he's the breadwinner of the family. He's the son, the oldest child. He's a son, so he has a sister and his mom and his dad, and they even have a maid or whatever that comes in and out. But so the mom and dad doesn't work. He's paying for the sister to go to school, and he's in sales and he's stressed, and he's got all this on his shoulders. And I don't want to really give the book away, but it's a roach on the front of it because he wakes up and he turned into a roach. He's like, and just the conversation, and you can see it's not that big of a book, but the conversation that he's having with himself is like, oh my God, like what's going on? And he's having to get acclimated to being, a big giant cockroach and trying to figure out how to navigate life. But then as he's sedentary, if you will, he's thinking about how he got that way. Eventually, his family figures out what happened to him because he, before he really got to where he couldn't move, he was able to lock the door, and they're trying to get in there, and he realizes he can't speak. In his mind, he hears what he's saying, but they're like, what are you saying? So eventually they do get in there, and they're freaked out because he's turned into a cockroach. And they tried to care for him as best they could, but after a while, they forgot about him, didn't care about him because he was no longer an asset. The dad had to go and get a job. He hated it. He hated that he had to go get a job. I think the sister went and got a job. She couldn't go to school, and they just completely just neglected him. And I won't tell y'all everything that happened in the book, but I thought about this book today because oftentimes we're so busy helping everybody else, doing for everybody else. And then sometimes when we need somebody, not even just monetarily, but maybe somebody to talk to or something. Hey, you all right? How you doing? Those people don't exist. And so I just wanted to say it's very important that we take care of ourselves first and also, because, sometimes we're just in a position where we take care of other people, just who we are. We'll always do that. But we also have to make sure that we take care of ourselves because God forbid, you wake up in your giant roach one day, how many people will say, I love you anyway. I'm going to take care of you. Because I ain't going to lie. If I walk to somebody's room and they turn into a roach and be like, where the raid at?
Yeah,
But for real though, we really have to strive to, take care of ourselves in every way, shape, and form. Because we know also disease, and they break this down eloquently in the Nation of Islam. Disease is dis-ease, right? It doesn't only come from the things that you eat or you don't eat. It comes from stress and your lifestyle and your environment. It's a whole lot of things involved. But the lack of self-care also causes us to end our time here on the planet sooner than we're supposed to. But just make sure you take care of yourself as well as taking care of other people. But it's a really good book. I'm glad that, because when I read the book in college, I was like, what on earth? But as I got older, I said, okay, I get it now, you know? So, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. It's an old book, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, and by the way, if you if you guys need those candle supplies, let me know. The website lyt.1 is in effect. We're making some changes to the designs, are a little bit different, or a lot different than what you see online. Um, we're also, it's funny. I have a lot of friends that are in network marketing that are extremely wealthy, and I thought, you know what would Bugs Bunny do? If you can't beat him, join him. So I started my own. So we'll talk about it more in the future.
And
But
let me address this. Your average logical thinker, he says, my younger brother sleeps in his car sometimes. I want to help, but he has to learn to be a man. He's getting there. If you don't mind me asking you, how old is your brother? And when you say he has to learn to be a man, what does that entail exactly? Um, and Walter, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on. I mean, that's a mixed bag. But one, it would depend on his age. Like how was the start? Because some kids get a rough start and they have to fight like hell from the beginning. I worry about my kids. They're not like sleeping in their cars, but like I do worry about them. Um, I worry about, am I giving them the right tools? Because when I was a kid, it was different. It was a lot easier. Well, I don't want to say easier. We were expected to do more. And I don't think our kids these days are expected to really do stuff. So, and really, it would depend on if he's working and trying to get it together, is he open for help, or is he just like, I'm going to do things my way? Because sleeping in your car, and I talk about like getting a van and going to my property and staying there, like for camping and stuff like that, or as an extreme measure, if Joe Biden gets elected again, I can at least, if the world turns to crap, um, at least I have my own land, which is humongous. So,
And I would say this, I don't your average logical thinker, I don't know what your situation is with your brother, so I don't want to, speak to your situation. I just sometimes think, like Walter said as well, what is his situation? But I also wonder, is he going to learn to be a man in a car, or like what, what I'm saying? Because that's why I said I have so many questions as to what's he doing in a car. I know, like Walter said, sometimes people have a rough start or whatever. If he's, being irresponsible and not taking advice, then okay, maybe the car will humble him. But if that's not a situation, I just couldn't imagine being able to really. I'd imagine it'd be hard to get yourself together sleeping in a car, because there's so many things that you lack when you're sleeping in a car. For one, you lack security. I'd imagine it's a mental trip, an emotional trip. Sleeping in a car, and whenever I stay anywhere, whether it's a hotel or Airbnb or something like that, and I don't have a bathroom in my room, I'm like, oh my God, this is so terrible. Like in Japan, the Airbnb we stayed in, the shower and stuff was in the part of the house where you are, but the toilet itself was outside of the Airbnb. So it was in the same house, but it was just not in the same space per se. And I just thought, oh, this is horrible. So I couldn't imagine sleeping in the car and having to go to the restroom maybe in the middle of the night. And then it's like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I imagine people are pretty resourceful, but it's just a small thing. So I don't know how much of a man it would make him unless he's really just doing something that's out there. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's tough. And people that end up in that situation tend to get worse. They don't sleep in their car and then find resilience or God or become tougher. They just tend to start going the other way. And so, and yeah, and this, I mean, I don't, black women, I mean, being favored, I mean, that's obvious. I mean, especially the liberals, they go after black women. You know, if you see a strong black man on the horizon, here come the army of black women brought on by the liberal media to come after the, come after the, the black man, which is it's pretty sad to watch. I watch TV and I see these sisters tearing into each other, tearing into these men. Like, man, when this whole thing happened with Michael Jackson, even R. Kelly, I don't know anything about R. Kelly thing. I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I don't know. Don't care. But man, the way like the media has black women come after these people, it's insane to me. Like Bill Cosby, there's a special on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but it's like, or Amazon. It's like damn, they still going after Bill Cosby.
They
It's
even
like,
did like an R. Kelly part 35. I'm sure it's a part two, but it was like, damn, the
but
man
like,
is going away for the rest of his natural life. What else do you need to say? You know, the other part of that I would be interested in about R. Kelly is when the parents and the record executives and all those other people, when they go into the clink, you know, because they were just as involved in, you know, what he did, and he did do, you know, a lot of those things that he's accused of to those girls. And like I said, to not to even bring up R. Kelly, I don't know how I got on it, but I was well versed on R. Kelly years and years and years and years before it became fashionable, you know, to be on the R. Kelly bandwagon or whatever. It wasn't a secret. People just didn't want to know. Um, let's see here. Um,
pedophilia is the United States is the number one importer of young children for sex. I mean, you watched that movie. I've seen the movie Sound of Freedom twice. Matter of fact, I went to,
I couldn't watch that. I heard it was too hard to watch. I'm like, I'm good,
actually,
thank you.
it wasn't. The good thing about the movie is it wasn't graphic. They didn't show anything. It was actually, the movie was well done. It wasn't anything graphic. It wasn't like that. They weren't touching the kids. They didn't show any of the acts. It wasn't none of that.
So
They
would squeamish me be able to watch that?
Absolutely. I've seen it twice. I'm getting ready to take a friend of mine to go see it again. You know, it just because it's just, you have to see the movie because so many kids get caught up in these what's supposed to be innocent little pageants or friends or neighbors. Like, when you think about how big pedophilia is, and the United States is the number one country for pedophilia, no one's going after those fools. I didn't hear Oprah say shit about Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't hear her say nothing about Harvey Weinstein. So going back to black women attacking black men, I don't see the liberal media hiring these black women to go after none of these people. They're going after black men, like that big old, what's this Beetlejuice looking sister on the podium talking about Kanye and Kyrie, the demons.
The Beetlejuice sister.
And I don't know. She looked
Lori Lightfoot.
Huh?
Lori Lightfoot.
No, not Lori Lightfoot. Not
She
that.
looked like Beetlejuice.
The other Beetlejuice. When the
Are you
lady was
talking about Corinne Jean Pierre?
I don't know. It's the sister girl, the big one. She's sitting on stage talking about Kanye and Kyrie are the demons. Kyrie and
Dream
Kanye,
Hampton.
I don't know what her name is. I didn't even see her name. I just saw her with a big, a whole linebacker crew back there bashing this billionaire brother that has hired hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black people. When you saw him on the plane with the karaoke night, late night guy, all black people on the plane, hired them, his choir, everybody. I know Kanye personally. I know that he hires black people around him. And they went after this brother, the most successful entertainer to ever live on the planet. Kanye West is the richest entertainer to ever live, most successful to ever live. No entertainer on this planet through acting, music, and what he did has got that rich that fast. And then for Kyrie, a dude that just read, think about this. Amazon had that Hebrews to Negroes for $50. Top Gun is like $19. Maybe it's 14 right now. You can see a brand new movie on Amazon for 20, 25 bucks. Hebrews to Negroes, whatever it was $50. And black women went after this dude like he was breaking the law. And yeah, I didn't like the way some of the language they used, but I learned more from watching that documentary than I learned in watching a lot of other stuff. The point I'm making is they hired the black women to go after these cats. And what's Kanye doing now? Got him a white chick, and he's out.
And the other thing too is, if you notice, especially with black men that are defuncting, if you will, from the Democratic Party. Oh yeah, they on y'all. They are on y'all bumper. How dare you? The Root had an article, the Root magazine or whatever it was, newspaper. They said they got to stop y'all from leaving. It's like, well, that's interesting. Well, how are you going to do that? Are they not allowed to leave the Democrats? Like, what are we doing here?
You guys listen. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, because I voted for, I vote for whoever makes sense. You realize that our black leaders, from Malcolm, Martin, Sojourner, those guys, they were all Republicans. When the Democrats burned down the churches, the Republicans showed up with the water hose. And I know a lot has changed, but do you think about and I voted for Obama, by the way. So, I can go back and forth. But man, when I think about the policies, like allowing a dude with a dangling to go into a girl's bathroom because he identifies as a woman. I would be the dude in the black SUV ready to roll up and kidnap his ass. But that makes me a wacko in the liberal media, in the liberal world. That I want my daughter sitting there with some dude in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, it's okay to take care of your family. It's okay to be married and take care of your kids. It's okay to have an opinion. And black women, stop following these idiots. When I see Joe Biden on TV falling asleep, nodding his head off, where am I at? Oh, Hawaii, good night. And his ass is in Alabama. What is it that we do that we have to follow this guy? I had my Trump shirt on with Trump all ganged out with a gold chain. And this black lady looked at me like I stole her child. I said, first of all, this is a joke. But what if I want to rock this shirt?
But let me ask you this. Why do you even feel like you have to explain that to her? Because I get it. I know, you probably thought you had 35 heads on your shoulders when she saw you with the shirt. Why do we as, and I'm speaking collectively because I didn't vote for Biden or Trump. But if you want to vote for Trump, why do you feel like it? Because a couple of weeks ago, I was on Instagram and Teddy Riley, y'all know Teddy Riley, one of the greatest to ever do it, right? The producer guy and all of that. He was talking about the people who were indicted there in Georgia. And he was basically saying that it's messed up. I'm paraphrasing, it's a witch hunt. And he says, Trump 2024. And do you know, so many people came for his head, different singers, celebrities, and they're like, surely you're joking. Oh, I would have never had this on my bingo card, you supporting Trump. And he got in the comment section. He's like, I don't care what y'all say, what y'all think. I got enough money. None of y'all gonna take it from me. I'm set for life. And y'all not gonna scare me into, voting basically more for of nothing. I'm voting for Trump because my money was better under Trump. I was like, wow, okay.
And you guys, this is coming from the New Jack Swing King. I've met Teddy Riley more than once. We had a long conversation. The dude lost everything. He had to rebuild from scratch. And you know how he rebuilt it? Thinking like a conservative. I need to be responsible. I need to know what's going on with my life. I need to be in control. So, and you guys, the black men are leaving the Democratic Party. And again, the Republicans, they're not the greatest either. I'm not saying they are. I'd rather have Trump back all day. You know what I like about Trump is you knew what he was thinking because he was dumb enough to say it. Period. I would rather deal with somebody that we know what they're thinking. And all these black men are coming out talking about ends for Trump. And I don't really buy into that. But all my black male friends that are successful and doing well, every single one of them support Trump. Every single one of my friends that do well financially, all of them support Trump. Even my boys that aren't doing as well as my wealthy friends, they even support. I had a dinner with my boys over here. We talked about Donald Trump all night. And I'm like, whoa, this is some weird shit. So Now that once the black man gets control of the race, oh, it's all over. Because then we could say we need to take care of ourselves. That means getting up, getting a job, going to work. Black women, get behind us and let us work. And if we don't work, then you step in front. Or find you a man that will get in front. And be quiet. Lord have mercy. Sometimes you just gotta shut up and let your man lead. And I know it's hard in the beginning, but we gotta start somewhere. Anyways.
So absolutely. So we love and appreciate every last one of you. And Tyrell, how you doing? He says you don't survive in this world without being a sinner. Otherwise, you'll be dead or locked up. He says the reason repentance for sin is important. Most of us are accomplices, no matter who you are. Okay. And Will, you say Donald Trump, was beating hornets, though? What does that mean?
Get it twisted. Donald Trump is he's still a crooked man. He still got his crooked ways. I listen, they all do. Like I said, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm watching this TV show Billions, and they did a fireside chat. Him and Mike Prince, the two billionaires, and Mark Cuban comes on there, and they're all like, in order to get on top, you almost have to be a shark. I mean, you just do. And do the wealthier pay less taxes? No. They pay more taxes per person. They pay less taxes as a percentage of their income. So yeah, I mean, is it fair for a guy that makes $10 million a year to pay $4 million in taxes? I mean, how many things can he pay for? Versus him paying his fair share. And I'm not going to get into taxes and all that tonight. I'm just saying they do pay more, but as a percentage of their income, they pay less. And they should. You started a company and you're making $1 million a year. That's hard as hell to do. You should keep most of your money, especially if you're hiring a bunch of people. I think like Jeffrey Bezos, he's hired hundreds of thousands of people. I don't think he should pay any taxes based on the fact that he's created jobs for all kinds of people. But that's just me. So
absolutely. So we're going to get out of here. I love and appreciate every last one of you. And thank you to Walter. For if you guys, a lot of times you guys don't know, Walter is actually my very older brother.
Yeah, by year.
Yeah, by 10 years.
I was born in December 1969. You were born in April 1971. That's 6 months.
16 months. A year and 6 months.
Yeah, a year and 6 months.
Give or take. Okay. You're still older, nevertheless. So anyway, Walter helps us with money questions and, everything like that regarding finances. So we'll be back. When I say we, Donovan and I will be back on Sunday. I don't know if y'all caught the show yesterday, our podcast, but it was one for the record. I will tell you that much. Check it out. So we'll be back here Sunday. I don't know what we'll talk about. I'm sure it'll be a riot nevertheless. And Will, you say 1967. Okay. We're babies still. We're still babies. Y'all know they say with all the technology and knowledge and everything that they have today, that a baby born today should live to be 120. But we're going backwards. People are actually dying earlier. So, we're still babies. Anyway, I will see you guys later. And on the messenger, 215 says, class of 87, shout out, class of 89 right here. 89 and fine. I'm just playing because I've been to my class reunion. It's like, is it 89 or 39?
Yeah. Some of those people look ragged, horrible. Ooh-wee.
Yes, indeed. So you guys, please have a great rest of your evening, and we will be back here on Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time. And yes, Turner, 70th anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah. Can you imagine? 70 years married. Because I think he said they've known each other since he was 14 anyway. So they've known each other their whole entire lives. Hello, Dwight, the mentor. How are you? And Honeydew, what's going on with you? Yeah, 70 years. We would all be so fortunate if we can just even get a third of that, right? So anyway, see y'all in a couple of days. Love you. Peace.
Peace.